In the previous video, we heard about suffering. And now, let us listen to the Buddha's teaching about the 5 aggregates of human existence. The Buddha taught that the human body and mind are made up of the 5 aggregates. Our 5 aggregates consist of form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. These 5 aggregates are constantly governed by the law of karma. And because they arise from ignorance, every activity of the body and mind is driven by desire and craving. From this, people create countless evil deeds, causing suffering to themselves and suffering to others, without limit, without end. The 5 aggregates are also controlled by impermanence. Every second, every minute, from youth to old age, from health to sickness, from disease to death. All of these cause people to live in anxiety, fear, sadness, and suffering. The 6 sense objects entice the mind. Worldly desires and emotions intoxicate the heart, causing body and mind to sink into endless suffering. Deluded thoughts, attachment, and clinging to worldly possessions. Then arise the ideas of I, mine, and the ego of self. From this come gain and loss, love and hatred, suffering and sorrow. And because of this, human beings continue to wander endlessly through the cycle of rebirth and karmic consequences. The 5 aggregates cannot endure too much walking, standing, sitting, or lying down because of exhaustion, numbness, pain, and aching. So people must sometimes walk, sometimes lie down, sometimes stand, and then sit again. The 5 aggregates must constantly keep moving like this just to feel temporary comfort. But how can such temporary comfort ever bring true peace, purity, and lasting happiness? The Buddha taught that the 5 aggregates are formed through the coming together of 5 conditions, depending on the environment and circumstances. A human being is formed, but every action is created by the force of karma and cause and effect. Therefore, every person born into this world must live according to the law of karma. Good deeds bring happiness. Evil deeds bring suffering, are all created by one's own actions. There is no one who grants blessings or brings misfortune upon human beings only because of delusion and attachment to worldly possessions. People believe that the more material things they have, the happier they will become. So every action is often driven by selfishness, narrow-mindedness, and thinking only for oneself. In the end, it not only causes suffering to others, but also brings suffering to oneself. The Buddha taught that human beings are not animals. Therefore, we should know how to do good, live with compassion, and care for others. Doing good does not simply mean giving charity. The true goodness that the Buddha taught is this: do not cause suffering to yourself and do not cause suffering to others. When a person lives this way, the activities within the 5 aggregates will gradually suffer less. But if someone gives charity while still clinging to the ego and still seeking rewards and blessings, then sometimes the blessings never come. And instead, they may only be taken advantage of by others. So, illness, misfortune, and suffering still continue to arise. In the early Buddhist scriptures, the Buddha taught all conditioned things are impermanent and are suffering. But when a person learns the morality of karma and cause and effect, and lives with humanity and virtue, not causing suffering to oneself and not causing suffering to others, then every action becomes a wholesome deed. And when wholesome causes are planted, the results received will naturally be blessings. When blessings are present, the human body becomes peaceful and at ease. The mind and soul become calm and joyful. Life itself becomes peaceful, stable, and free from troubles when body and mind are peaceful, calm, and undisturbed. That is, the state of purity. And when the body and mind are pure, that itself is meditation. When meditation becomes deep, the body and mind grow still. And when the body and mind become still, all mental activities gradually begin to cease. And when those activities cease, that is when impermanence and suffering slowly come to an end. And when impermanence and suffering come to an end, that is known as the untainted blessing. The state of nirvana right here in this very world. In conclusion, those who practice the meditation of liberation must deeply contemplate the three kinds of suffering. The suffering of suffering, the suffering of change, and the suffering of conditioned existence, so they may clearly understand the true source of suffering. From there, they should strive to live without causing suffering to themselves and without causing suffering to others. When living in this way, our body and mind will gradually become free from defilement. And that is also the true goal that Buddhism points toward. And now, please listen to a short story about the five aggregates and human greed. Long ago, there was a man named Min. Min was born into a poor family, so from a young age, he always believed, as long as I become very rich, then I will finally be happy. Because he wanted to get rich quickly, he was willing to deceive others, cheat customers at the market, lie in business dealings, and even compete against his own brothers and sisters. At first, Min earned a great deal of money. He built a large house, bought many valuable things, and everyone who saw him felt jealous. But the more he gained, the more restless his mind became. At night, he could not sleep peacefully. He was always afraid of losing his wealth, afraid that others would harm him, afraid of sickness, and afraid of growing old. One day, an old monk passed by his house. Seeing Min sitting there in silence, the monk asked, "You have so much money, so why are you still suffering?" Min sighed and replied, "I do not know. The longer I live, the more exhausted and fearful I become." The old monk smiled gently and said, "Suffering does not come from being poor or rich. Suffering comes from greed and attachment within the mind. People chase after material things, causing suffering to others, and in the end, they bring suffering upon themselves." Min remained silent for a long time. From that day on, he began to change. He no longer deceived others, no longer fought to win or lose, and no longer harmed others for his own benefit. When he did something good, he no longer expected praise or repayment in return. Little by little, his mind became lighter and more peaceful. At night, he slept soundly. The fear within him slowly faded away, and his family became more harmonious than before. One day, Min met the old monk again. He bowed his head and said, "Now I finally understand. Happiness is not about how much a person possesses. It depends on whether the mind still causes suffering to itself and to others." The old monk only smiled gently. A soft breeze moved through the bamboo trees, and in that moment, Min felt at peace within his heart, greater than ever before. If you truly understand this, you will begin to see life differently. In the next video, we will continue listening to the Buddhist teachings about the causes of suffering and the truth of suffering. If this message made you reflect, please subscribe to the channel to support this journey of exploring Buddhist wisdom among the countless mixed truths and illusions within this vast world.